Hello, students. A very, very warm welcome. So, today we will be talking about the major domains of the Earth. Right. So, when I talk about the major domains, there are four domains. Right. You have the lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and the biosphere. Now, when these three combine, they form your biosphere. So lithosphere is everything and anything to do with rocks, right? The solid landmass. Hydrosphere has got to do everything with the water. Atmosphere is all the air around us, right? Uh, and biosphere is the interplay of the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere that makes life possible on Earth, right? So we will be covering all the continents. We will be covering all the major oceans of the world, right? And also, we'll be talking about the atmosphere, its importance, wind pressure, and everything. And then we will be talking about um, biosphere in the end, right? So, what is the lithosphere? Lithosphere is the solid portion on which we live. Atmosphere is the gaseous cover that surrounds us. Hydrosphere is the part of Earth that's covered in uh, water in any form. It can be liquid, solid or gaseous state, uh, in the form of ice, water, or water vapor. And the narrow zone between land, water, and air forms our biosphere. So now let's begin with lithosphere. So lithos means rocks, right? And it covers 29% of the Earth's surface. It includes all kinds of land masses, right? The large land masses are known as continents. There are total seven continents: Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, Australia, right? We will be doing all of them in detail. And most of the land masses are found in the northern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere is mostly covered in water. You find a great diversity of living beings with a lot of different countries, different languages, people different wearing different clothes, religions, customs, a wide diversity, right? Um, so let's start with Asia, right? So Asia, students, is the biggest continent in the world, right? Uh, it has the largest area, the highest population. It lies between 80-degree north to 10-degree south latitudes and between 26-degree east and 170-degree west longitude. Right? Majorly, it falls in the northern hemisphere, covers one third of the total area of Earth, and Tropic of Cancer passes through it. It is separated from Europe by the Ural Mountains, in the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea in the west side. Then the Bering Strait separates Asia from North America, and the Suez Canal separates it from Africa. Now, this is a continent of vast diversity. Now, why? Because you have Pacific Ocean in the east, Arctic Ocean north May, then you have the Indian Ocean in the south, and very high mountains, very deep valleys, right? Large and fertile plains and vast plateaus. You find the highest mountain range, Himalayas here. You find the highest plateau in Tibet region is found in Asia again. The highest mountain peak, Mount Everest, is found in Asia. The lowest part of Earth on land, that's the Dead Sea, or its part as well. You have Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Zoroastrianism, Shinto, Sikhism, Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, all of these major religions of the world, students, all of them came out of Asia, right? You also have an abundance of natural resources like petroleum, and along with that, the world's two of the most populous countries, China and India, are found in Asia, right? Next, we have Africa. Now, Africa is between 37-degree north to 35-degree south latitude, right? And 18-degree west to 51-degree east longitude. The north-south extent is somewhere around 8,000 kilometers. The east-west extent is 7,200 kilometers. Now you have Indian Ocean in the east, Atlantic Ocean in the west, Mediterranean Sea in the north, and the Red Sea in the northeast, right? Now, this something that is very unique about and specific about Africa is that it is the only continent through which we find equator, Tropic of Cancer, and Tropic of Capricorn pass through, right? And equator passes right through the middle, therefore the climate is very hot, right? It has a huge plateau surface. Congo Basin is a very important low-lying area. Mount Kenya and Mount Kilimanjaro are volcanic mountains. The largest deserts is Sahara. It is in Africa, and there are also other deserts like the Kalahari and the Namib. The longest river Nile flows here. It is the Africa is separated from Asia through the Suez Canal, and earlier, so it's also known as Great Safari. And earlier, Africa was known as the Dark Continent because people didn't know much about it. Right now, let's move to North America. Right, so this is the third largest continent. Again, in the northern hemisphere, it lies between 7 degree north to 83 degree north latitude, 53 degree west to 180 degree west longitude. Right, so you have Pacific Ocean the west of North America, Arctic Ocean towards the north, and Atlantic Ocean towards the east of North America. It is linked to South America through Isthmus of Panama, right? It has a large area, vast extent. The north-south extent is 7,650 kilometers. East-west extent is 4,800 kilometers, right? North America houses 23 countries, and Canada and USA together are also known as Anglo-America. Now, according to geologists, Canada is one of the oldest regions in the world. Um, then some of the major cities are Mexico, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Toronto, Washington D.C. Then the northern part of North America is mostly snow covered throughout the year. You find a lot of plain region as well, extensive plains and grasslands, which forms the prairies, and you have these four Great Lakes between Canada and USA, right? Uh, and the St. Lawrence, Mississippi, and the Missouri rivers are very important. Okay. And another thing very interesting is that the Colorado River, while flowing through the soft rocks, they cut and form the Grand Canyon, and these are very important, right? Um, then you have the Ring of Fire. That is basically the volcanic mountain range along the base of Pacific Ocean, right? And the group of Caribbean island students and the Gulf of Mexico are together known as the West Indies. We also find a variety of natural resources, which makes the region very rich in minerals like gold, lead, uranium, iron, nickel, and so on and so forth. Then let's talk about South America now. Now, South America is between 13 degree north and 55 degree south latitude, 35 degree west, and 81 degree west longitude. Right. Once again, this also has a very large area, and the east-west extent is around 4,800 kilometers. The north-south extent is 7,650 kilometers. It's mostly South America mostly lies in the southern hemisphere, students, right? It has Atlantic Ocean in the east and Pacific Ocean in the west, Caribbean Sea in the north. Now, 12 independent countries from the South America. You have countries like Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, Uruguay, Venezuela, right? Uh, then you have the Andes, which is the longest continental mountain range in the world, right? Um, which is approximately 7,000 kilometers long, right? It extends from north to south and cuts through seven South American countries. Students. It is very interesting. And the highest peak of the Andes mountain range is the Mount Aconcagua. Right. Then you have also that half of South America is occupied by lowlands. Three main rivers are Orinoco, Amazon, and La Plata. And the river basins of these rivers, the river basin of Orinoco is Llanos, the river basin of Amazon is known as Selvas, and the river basin of La Plata is called Gran Chaco. right? Out of this, the Amazon basin has the thickest forest in the world, and Amazon is the largest river of the world by volume, right? Um, it is very rich in minerals. The region is very rich in minerals like gold, silver, copper, petroleum, right? And also a variety of animals and wildlife is found here, right? Then let's talk about Antarctica now, right? Antarctica, students, is the fifth largest continent with respect to area, right? It is covered in thick sheets of ice, which is because of which it is known as the White Continent. It is the southernmost continent of the Earth. It has south poles and is surrounded by the Southern Sea. The minimum temperature is 93.2 degrees Celsius. It was discovered in 1820. There are no permanent population or human population or trees there. We find seals and penguins. Now, something very interesting that happened in 1959 was a lot of countries they signed the Atlantic Treaty, according to which no country can exploit natural resources of Antarctica, and it can only be used for peaceful purposes like to study climate change. Therefore, it is also known as the continent of science. And India, also, students, you would be happy to know that India has two stations named Maitri and Gangotri in Antarctica, right? It has a lot of different mountain ranges and vast plateau regions. The highest peak is Vinson Massif, and Mount Erebus is the world's southernmost active volcano, which is found here, right? Now let's talk about Europe. Europe is the sixth largest continent, lying between 36-degree north to 72-degree north latitude and 10-degree west to 60-degree east longitude, right? Again, having a vast area. Um, the southernmost part is mostly mountains, right? While the northern area has a lot of lowlands known as the Great European Plains. The highest mountain ranges are the Alps, Pyrenees, and the Carpathians. Uh, Europe mostly has a temperate climate, and it is the most populous continent after Asia and Africa, housing 11% of the world's population. Right. So, students, this is also it is surrounded by Atlantic Ocean in the west. You have Mediterranean Sea in the south and Arctic Ocean in the north. Um so Europe and Asia are separated from the Ural Mountains, Caspian Sea, and the Caucasus Mountains, right, forming the eastern boundary. And Europe is separated from Africa by the Strait of Gibraltar. Europe overall comprises of 50 countries, and Russia is the largest country of Europe, having most of its area in the continent of Asia. Next is Australia. Now, Australia, students, is the sixth largest country and the smallest continent in the world. Right? It lies in the southern hemisphere completely. It is known as Oceania because it's surrounded by seas and oceans to all sides. Right? Therefore, also known as an island continent. Australia, together with New Zealand and nearby islands, are known as Australasia. It lies between 10 degrees south and 44 degrees south latitude and 112 degrees east and 154 degrees east longitude. Most of the area is made up of plateaus. Uh, there are three main physical features, right? One is the Great Dividing Range, the Central Lowland, and the Western Desert. You also have the famous Great Barrier Reef, which is made up of corals. It is found in the northeast coast of Australia. Now, neighboring countries of Australia are Indonesia, East Timor, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, right, and New Zealand in the southeast. It has a lot of very unique and different animals like the kangaroo, the platypus, and cassowary. It was discovered in 1642 students by a Dutchman named Abel Tasman, yeah, right? And Australia was occupied by Europeans. Although the original inhabitants of Australia are known as Aborigines, right? And till date they use boomerang to hunt animals and birds. Now let's move on to the next part, which is the hydrosphere. Hydrosphere is the world of water. right? It is the combined mass of water. It includes all water bodies like oceans, rivers, lakes, glaciers, underground water, and water vapor in the air. Now, it covers 71% of the Earth's surface, right? 97% of the total water is found in oceans, and the rest of the water is mostly in the form of ice sheets, glaciers, or underground water. A very small percentage is available for humans as fresh water. And despite, students, that is the reason why, despite of being blue planet, we are facing water crisis. Now, the five main oceans in the world, they are all interconnected, are the Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Arctic, and Antarctic. Let's go by each of these one by one. Pacific is the largest ocean. Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean, right? Its area is more than the total area of all the continents. It is also the deepest ocean. The deepest place on Earth's surface is located here. That's the Mariana Trench, right? It is 1122-meter deep. Then along its edges, there is a range of active volcanoes known as the Ring of Fire. It merges with the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean in the south, Arctic Ocean in the north. The name Pacific was given by Ferdinand Magellan in the 16th century. In Portuguese, it means peaceful sea. Next is Atlantic Ocean. It is the second largest ocean in the form of an S. Europe and Africa are on the east coast. North America and South America are on the western limits. A submerged mountain range exists in the middle, known as the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Uh, then you also have the coastline is longer than the total coastline of Pacific and Indian Ocean. It houses a lot of ports and harbors in terms of trade and transportation, making it the busiest ocean of the world, right? Now let's talk about Indian Ocean, right below India, the only ocean named after a country. It is nearly triangular in shape, with India at its head. So Asia is in the north, Australia in the east, Africa in the west, merges with Atlantic and Pacific Oceans in the south. You have Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal forming the northern parts of the Indian Ocean, right? Next is Arctic Ocean. Arctic Ocean, it lies around the North Pole and extends up to the Arctic Circle. The most of the part is covered with thick ice sheet throughout the year, and the drifting of iceberg is also a common feature. Um, it is bordered by three continents. You have North America, Europe, as well as Asia. Now, Arctic Ocean merges with Atlantic Ocean between Greenland and Scandinavia, and it is linked to the Pacific Ocean through the Bering Strait. Then we have the Antarctic Ocean. It surrounds the continent of Antarctica, also known as the Southern Ocean, right? And is formed by merging of Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Ocean. Now, why ocean, students? It's a very interesting question, right? Why? What is the use? Or what is the importance of the oceans? So, firstly, water from these oceans it evaporates and provides us rainfall, right? Oceans help us in giving common salt. It is a source of minerals like petroleum. It provides us with fish and other marine life, right? It is also a very important source of travel and trade, right? It provides a free and a permanent highway, which has been a catalyst in human progress throughout history, right? Then because of oceans, the climate of coastal areas is moderate, right? And we also have electricity that is generated through tidal waves. Then what we have is the next part is atmosphere. So the air atmosphere is basically the air that envelopes the earth, right? Although the exact thickness of the atmosphere, students, is unknown, scientists believe that it is approximately 1600 kilometer above the sea level, right? And there are five layers of atmosphere according to composition, temperature, and other properties. You have the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere, right? So the lowest air of the layer of the atmosphere is known as troposphere, which is the closest to the Earth's surface. It is very important for living beings. And now this is 18 kilometer range of approximately 18 kilometers above the equator and 8 kilometers above the poles. Uh, so something unique for this layer is that water vapor and dust particles are found only in this air. It contains 90% of total air of the atmosphere, and this layer is held to the earth by gravity. Troposphere is very important for life on earth. Now, composition of atmosphere is made up of various colorless, odorless, and tasteless gases. It also contains water vapors, dust particles, and smokes. Then many gases are found here, like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and a lot of others. Right. The major part is made up of nitrogen, which is 78%. Oxygen constitutes 21%. Right, and the rest is mostly just carbon dioxide plus other gases. Carbon dioxide keeps the planet warm by absorbing heat radiated by Earth. Now, let's look at a couple of other things related to the atmosphere. So, you have the density, right? Density is the fact that atmosphere becomes thin as we go up, right? And density of the atmosphere changes with height. Uh, so the atmosphere becomes thin as we go up. Then you have atmospheric pressure. Now, air has weight, right? And therefore, it exerts pressure on the Earth's surface. What is atmospheric pressure? The fact that air has weight, therefore it exerts pressure on the Earth's surface. Now, this atmospheric pressure varies from place to place, and air keeps on moving from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. Now, this movement of Earth from high pressure areas to low pressure areas is known as wind. And what is the importance of atmosphere is that A, it protects us from the harmful radiation of the sun, right? B, it moderates the temperature of our planet, and C, sound waves are transmitted via this atmosphere itself, right? Making it possible for us to listen to TVs, radios, and whatnot. Next is biosphere. Okay, so bios means life. This is very interesting, students. Biosphere means life. So biosphere is the life-giving realm of the earth. It is made up of all living organisms of the earth and the physical environment in which they live and interact. So the domain of living organisms where the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere, right, meet and interact with each other forms the biosphere. So biosphere is really a small area, right? And plants, animals, and humans form a part of plants, animals, humans, and even microorganisms are its part. Right. With this, thank you so much. We complete this particular chapter. I hope you all enjoyed. Please reach out to me if you have any doubts, and see you all in the Microsoft Teams sessions. Thank you. Have a nice day.